From highways to back alleys, these riders push their luck harder than their engines would allow. Today, we're counting down the 9 fastest motorcycle chases ever caught on camera. Number 9. The Highway Ghost Rider. It starts off like nothing, a normal freeway, with daytime traffic and everything calm. A patrol unit sees a sport bike weaving a bit too confidently and moves in to pull it over. At first glance, it appears to be another routine speeding stop. But then, something flashes on the radar that makes the entire unit freeze. The number jumps past 270 kilometers per hour. Instantly, the camera feed blurs, cars stretch into streaks, and the side mirrors shake as he slices between lanes. A helicopter joins the chase, but even from above, the bike doesn't look real, just a silver line ripping through the freeway. So what finally stopped him? Was it a trap? A block? A breakdown? None of that. He simply exited into a residential area and slowed down on his own. The police never caught up. This chase wasn't about showing off. It was a reminder that highways turn into danger zones the moment speed becomes the only goal. Number 8. The Wrong Bike Outrun. Most people imagine high-speed chases involve superbikes. Not this one. Police try to stop a rider on what looks like a 600cc commuter bike. Nothing flashy, nothing built for insane speed. The officer steps out, gives a signal, and the rider just slips past. The officers expected a short pursuit, but didn't realize how fast this small bike could be. It was fast enough to hit 240 kilometers per hour while dodging cars like they're cones on a parking lot. The bike wasn't powerful. It was light, agile, and small enough to squeeze through gaps a cruiser couldn't dream of following through. Even the helicopter crew is shocked, calling out lane changes every second because the rider keeps switching sides of the road. This chase proves something important. It's not the engine size that makes a chase dangerous, it's how unpredictable the rider is. Number 7. The Night Run Through Downtown. This chase happened in a downtown area after midnight, not much traffic, but still full of tight corners, blind turns, and narrow one-way streets. What makes this chase stand out isn't impossible speeds or wild stunts. It's how the rider uses the layout of the city itself. Instead of sticking to the main roads, he keeps cutting through small connecting streets that police units can't enter without slowing down. The rider stays just fast enough to stay ahead, but not so fast that he loses control on the slippery road markings or tight intersections. But why did officers have such a hard time staying on him in a place that should have trapped him quickly? Most downtown grids look simple, but this one had multiple parallel service lanes, loading entrances, and shortcut side alleys. Every time the police tried to set up a block, the rider shifted to a smaller lane running beside the main road. Even the helicopter briefly lost visual when he moved under a covered loading area. Not planned, just part of the environment. This chase didn't stand out because of raw speed. It stood out because downtown layouts can be unpredictable, and a rider who understands those gaps can stay ahead longer than expected. No tricks, just knowing the terrain better than the patrol cars behind him. Number 6. The Off-Road Escape. A quiet rural road, a patrol car behind a lone dirt bike. Nothing dramatic, until the rider suddenly swings off the pavement and shoots straight into an open field. Normally, this is where chases die. Cars can't follow dirt bikes into uneven terrain. So what made this one explode instead of ending? Because the field wasn't his escape, it was his shortcut. He blasts across the entire stretch, hops back onto another highway on the far side, and is already at full throttle before the officer even clears the ditch. And then comes the impossible part. How fast can a dirt bike really go on knobby tires and loose traction? Fast enough to touch 180 kilometers per hour, with the front shaking and the back tires slipping all over the place. Most chases fall apart when the road surface changes. This one got worse because the surface changed, turning a quiet back road stop into absolute chaos. Number 5. The Canyon Carver mountain roads are usually where chases die instantly. Too narrow, too curved, too risky. But this clip shows the opposite. A sport bike rider is spotted carving through a canyon at racing speed. leaning so far into corners that his knee is inches from the pavement. Officers fall in behind him, but immediately struggle to keep up. The difference is obvious right away. Patrol cars need to brake hard for every bend. The rider doesn't. He flows from one curve to the next, using clean racing lines the way you'd expect on an actual closed circuit, not a public road with blind drops and no guardrails. From the helicopter audio, you can hear the surprise. They can't predict his movements because he's not panicking. He's riding like he's been to this route 100 times. Even at nearly 144 kilometers per hour through sections where most drivers wouldn't dare hit 40, the bike stays stable, smooth, and frighteningly controlled. This wasn't just speed, it was precision. And on canyon roads, precision at that level is what makes a chase genuinely dangerous. Number 4. The highway splitter. This chase blew up online because the rider didn't rely on pure speed. He used traffic itself to get away. The highway was already busy, and most people would have slowed down the moment the lanes got tight. He didn't. Instead, he started slipping between cars with almost zero hesitation. He wasn't guessing or hoping for space. He was reading the gaps perfectly. Some cars missed him by a couple of inches. In a few moments, he even flattened his body onto the tank just to fit under the mirrors. Police units tried to stay with him, but the traffic made it impossible. Even the helicopter crew radioed that ground officers couldn't safely continue. By then, the bike had climbed past 257 kilometers per hour in traffic that barely allowed cars to go 50. What makes this chase stand out isn't the top speed. It's how comfortable he was treating heavy traffic like it was a racetrack. It's risky, dangerous, and definitely not something you'd want to see again. But it's exactly why this clip became one of the most talked about chases online. Number 3. The multi-unit pursuit. Some police chases stay small. One patrol car, maybe two. This one turned into a full-on swarm, 7 units chasing the same motorcycle. It started in a quiet neighborhood when the rider ran a red light and refused to stop. Once he hit the highway, everything changed. Officers couldn't keep a consistent angle on him because he kept switching lanes and cutting through traffic in ways they couldn't safely follow. He wasn't the fastest rider on this list, but he was unpredictable. That's what forced more units to jump in. Marked cars, unmarked cars, even a K9 cruiser joined the chase just to keep track of where he was going. At one point, he reached around 233 kilometers per hour, took an exit way too fast, hopped a curb, and somehow didn't wipe out. Officers later described the whole thing as trying to chase a fly with a truck. If anything, this chase shows the biggest problem police face with motorcycles. They accelerate instantly, stop instantly, and slip into gaps that cars don't even have a chance to enter. It wasn't speed alone that caused the chaos. It was how hard he was to predict. Number 2. The helicopter-outrunning superbike. This one started with something small, a routine traffic stop. But the second the rider noticed the flashing lights behind him, he twisted the throttle and instantly jumped into triple-digit speeds. Within moments, the bike was pushing around 290 kilometers per hour, the kind of speed only a full-size liter bike can reach. What made the chase unusual wasn't just the number on the speedometer, it was how hard he became to track. Police helicopters almost never lose sight of a motorcycle. They're high enough to see over traffic and fast enough to follow almost anything on the ground. But this rider knew the layout of the highway too well. He kept ducking under overpasses, sliding into tunnels, and disappearing behind long stretches of concrete barriers. Every time the helicopter regained line of sight, he slipped under another bridge and vanished for a few seconds. At one point, the camera operator actually radios in that they can't estimate speed anymore because the bike was moving too quickly and breaking visual contact too often. It's one of those chases that reminds everyone why pursuits like this are so dangerous. At those speeds, a single mistake by the rider, by another driver, or by an officer could have ended the entire situation in seconds. Number 1. The fastest motorcycle chase ever recorded on camera.
No attempts are going to be made to stop the vehicle. We're allowed.
This chase became famous for one simple reason: the speed. It started almost casually, a sport bike cruising on the highway until a patrol radar picked up a number high enough to trigger an instant pursuit. The rider noticed the lights, twisted the throttle, and the chase jumped from routine to unbelievable in seconds. But the big question afterwards was simple. How fast was he actually going? Radar logs, helicopter readings, and dashcam data all confirmed it. The bike pushed past 300 kilometers per hour. It was not an estimate, it was the recorded speed. At that pace, patrol cars couldn't keep up, and even the helicopter struggled to hold visual as he shot under bridges and reappeared far ahead. Officers said later that at those speeds, the situation stops being a chase and becomes pure risk. One bump, one small mistake, and it's over. This wasn't a display of skill. It was a reminder of how dangerous just going faster can really be. So, those were 9 of the fastest motorcycle chases ever caught on camera. Not stories to copy, but moments that show just how intense and unpredictable real-world speed can be. If you want more breakdowns, deep dives, and high-energy episodes like this, hit that like button, drop your favorite chase number in the comments, and subscribe.